Hi Lily, Yuri, James. How you doing? This is a response to your request that we all kind of make a video, about ourselves and about our experiences in other countries and all that. Um, I don't even know if this really counts because I'm not from America. I was actually born in a country called Guyana in South America. I moved over here when I was like 8 years old. So I've mainly lived most of my life in the United States. But one thing I do recall when I was younger, I just recall seeing snow for the first time, seeing Caucasian people for the first time, and such an abundance of it. And so a lot of that was stuff I had to get used to, which I mean wasn't that bad because I tend to adapt to stuff pretty quickly. But which wasn't too cool. So I mean, I went to school over here in America for like pretty much most of my childhood, like kindergarten, junior high, and all that stuff. High school, graduated, and it wasn't too bad. I mean, um, and since being over here, like I've traveled to Canada because I have family in Canada, and I've actually always wanted to travel to England because my aunt lives in England, and I've only met her like a couple times when we have family reunions. So hopefully one day I get to make that trip. But I went to Canada. Canada was pretty cool. It was very beautiful, and I love the accents. It's kind of I like people with accents and stuff like that. So that's just where I am. But after living in America, going to school and everything, um, it was interesting. I mean, only main issue I can say with America is like there's so many rules. But in the country I came from, there was like, they were a little bit more relaxed as far as the rules are. And I mean that could work out either way because my country isn't that great right now, so I can't really complain though. But yeah, but about let me see, about 7, 8 years ago, I actually met somebody that was really special. Um, and when I met her, she was kind of pregnant. She was in a pretty bad relationship beforehand, and she was basically getting out of that. But when I met her, basically, weirdly enough, fell in love with her. Everything, no. Unfortunately, the fact that she's already pregnant, that kind of was difficult for my family to kind of take in because they were like, "Oh, why dating somebody that's already has someone else's baby or whatever?" But no, I loved her. That's all that mattered to me. So we went ahead and we got together and stuff like that, and literally we were together for a long time. And in fact, she ended up being like the greatest relationship I ever had. Um, so I adopted her daughter, and basically I became the dad. Then not too long after that, we had a kid of our own together, and well, right from the get go, my family I mean, I won't say they're like racist or anything like that. They're just very old fashioned, and it's like the whole mixing of races thing. They were never really into that. So, and they right off the bat, they made it obvious. Like I actually had family members that would tell me, "Why am I dating white girls and whatever?" So, but anyways, well, my fiance and mother of my kids, yes, she's white, and um, in fact, the reason why I started watching your vlogs was because she got into your vlogs because she liked the because you were talking. I think one of your videos you were talking about interracial relationships and how you dealt with it and stuff like that. And I guess she kind of fell in love with your videos because of that. And I would always come home from work and see her watching your videos. So we started watching them together and whatnot. So that's kind of how we came into meeting. I mean, getting introduced to your vlogs and everything. That's um, so that was fun. But yeah. Well, we went through the same thing. There were a lot of people that were kind of against are really well. They weren't really against it. They just weren't comfortable with seeing us together, and my family treated my girlfriend very differently at the time. But I just kind of was like, if you're gonna treat her like crap or treat her differently, me and her, we're kind of a team. We're a couple. Basically, you doing that to her is the same as you doing that to me. So I kind of would distance myself from that family member until they, we finally got to the point where they were okay with it. So, but well, one unfortunateness of my situation is my fiance, who I was with for 6 years and was engaged to. She actually passed away like last year, and because she had epilepsy, and well, eventually, she basically had a seizure in the bathroom and hurt herself, and it was to the point where it's pretty fatal. So basically, now I'm a single dad, and I'm raising my two kids and stuff like that. But the weirdest thing, I guess, I would have to say that I'm starting to deal with now is the fact that I am an African American male raising two kids, one of which pretty much is white, and the other one is mixed. But my son, even though he's mixed, he looks more white than he looks black. So I tend to get weird looks when I'm walking around with them, and most people they kind of like they'll hear my kids say, "Hey, daddy," or "Daddy this," or "Daddy that," and they'll like. I guess you can tell from the look on their face. They'll be like, "What the heck?" And they'd be like, "Well, if that's their dad. Where's their mom?" And it's just always like a weird experiences. No, seeing like reactions from some people and whatnot, and how at first they don't really believe that I'm their dad, but after the few brave ones that will ask, I'll like explain them the whole situation and whatnot, and I don't know, it's just weird. I just figured, in this day and age, seeing that interracial couples are becoming a little bit more common, that there really wouldn't be that much people like that, but there are, and I find myself getting surprised like almost on a daily basis at how many people, when they see you at first, they're automatically like, why is this kid's black or whatever, or why is this kid white and stuff like that. So I don't know. It's just how I deal with things. I mean, my kids even go through it, at school, and I can't really get mad at that because kids are bitterly honest, and it's something I've come to learn. And I've experienced it where I went to my school to pick up my kids, and one of their friends that will be meeting me for the first time will be like, "Why is your dad black?" And the first time I heard it, like I mean, I cracked up laughing because I mean, I know that they just never seen an interracial couple, so they don't know, you know, that stuff like that can happen, but whatever. But I mean, I just cracked up laughing because I thought it was funny, and you know, like I was there and I heard him say it, and when my kids introduced me to their friend, that's when I was like, oh, I'm black because I'm in an interracial relationship. Their mommy is white and stuff like that, and most kids are pretty understanding. Like they don't really care. I mean, I guess that's the coolness of being a child. It's like you're so comfortable and accepting of changes in your life or new things that have happened to you that it's not even a big deal. But adults tend to be the opposite, where something different or some major change in their life, and they automatically don't accept it and all that. But um, sorry, I kind of ranted and went off subject a little bit. But that's more or less my story. I mean, basically came to America. Most of my family is here. Basically, my grandmother came here first, and she paid for the rest of our family to get here and whatnot. So basically came to America, better life, achieved that. Um, had one or two little hiccups and one major hiccup, basically losing my wife. So I'm just living life and raising my babies. But it was a joy making this video. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. And talk to you later. Ciao.